The strike is over, apparently. We've found out SAG-AFTRA has ended the strike after 118 days after their leaders agreed to a new contract, which interestingly came just a couple days after the last, best, and final offer from the movie studios. Turns out that might have just been a tactic. But anyway, they've put out this announcement that they have arrived at a contract that will enable members of SAG-AFTRA from every category to build sustainable careers. Full details will be provided eventually, but are not here. And obviously the devil might well be in the details. And this thing is not necessarily totally finalized. We'll have to see what everybody, including the membership, thinks about all this. But we have some vague ideas of what the contract includes. So we're going to tell you those to give you our reaction. So the new contract will include, quote, above pattern minimum compensation increases. So some more money, which could mean a lot of different things. Unprecedented provisions that will protect members from the threat of AI. We actually have more on that, and we will dive into that because that's the part of this that has always been most interesting to me. A new streaming participation bonus, which does not sound like royalties. It sounds like a one-time thing, but we don't know.
Participation means bonus. Participation means
bonus, but a bonus could be a one-time thing, whereas royalties theoretically pay out over a very long period of time. I don't know. Substantially raised caps on union pension and health plans. That sounds good. Pay raises for background performers. That's good, considering one of the AI concerns was background performers being entirely replaced by digital, simulacra. And critical contract provisions protecting diverse communities. Again, that could mean a lot of things. We don't exactly know. So we are going to dive into the AI thing, but it sounds like they've gotten some more money, some more protections. Brett, what do you think about this? Obviously, barring actual details.
Yeah, a lot of folks were saying with the writers, the AI wasn't as big a deal. But with the actors, it was more of a big deal because they were explicitly saying, yeah, we're just going to put together AI versions of you and own that forever. Your likeness is going to be worth nothing. But that's bad. But it's good. It's good that they got something they felt confident in signing on to, and it was way overdue. Everybody who is using, if you've cut your cord, if you have sat and waited for 2 months to see if something comes out on streaming, if you're excited that something comes out on streaming instead of going to a theatrical release, then you know exactly what not only the studios, but definitely the actors and writers are facing. If you're like, oh my God, why aren't we used to have 22 episodes of The Office in one season. We only have 8. I hate having to wait a year. Yeah, so do the writers, so do the actors. And this was all a way for them to get the compensation to make life easier for them and make it more just how they're getting paid and compensated.
Yeah. Look, I guess like to be fully transparent, my wife is a member of SAG-AFTRA. A lot of my friends, including people I had in-depth conversations right on the precipice of this happening, are in different elements of these ongoing strikes. But it's just, it seems really bad in a lot of ways in comparison to 10 years, let alone 20 years ago for both the actors and the writers. And hopefully this will, rebalance things. I don't know. I don't know about the money, the compensation, for both writers and actors in terms of royalties for streaming, which has pushed out so much of the traditional royalty structure. I don't know. The AI stuff though is just the wildest. Like they literally wanted to be able to scan you once and then just use you forever. After you're dead, when you're alive, after you're dead, just use you. I'm not a member of the union, let alone their leadership, but that's the sort of thing where I would question whether negotiations could even work, because that is from a corporate sense, to me, utterly sociopathic. That you would believe that any of that is acceptable. That you could take one of your actors, they die, and you tell their family to kick rocks, you're gonna put them in movies for the rest of time.
As opposed to the old setup where it's like, let me just wait 70 years and then you're public domain.
Yeah, that's true, but that has never existed at a time where you could reliably CGI a person, really.
I'm just talking about making money off dead people.
Sure, yeah, 100%. But it just seems so utterly weird that like their end goal was so clear. Their end goal was not to produce better people to fill, like the bleachers in one scene. I know that was going around. They want to replace actors utterly. They don't want to have actors because actors are wildly expensive. And it would be easier to be able to just create their own actors, put them into movies that they would wholly own, that they could then edit in post, adding scenes, changing dialogue. They find humans to be like really inconvenient. And so while the money is super important, I really hope that those protections against AI are really robust, both for them and for the writers, because humans are like traditionally a big part of this entire process of creating art. But the corporations do not want humans involved in any area except maybe the executives. And I think you seem to be really worried about that. But anyway, they say they've gotten some good protections, including the ability for actors to allow for their images to be used for just a single project that had previously not been a part of this. If you ever allowed it for anything, it could be used for whatever. But it seemed like a hellscape coming up with the future, Brett, is what it seems like.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of boilerplate contracts in Hollywood have the words "throughout the universe" in perpetuity everywhere. And it's great to have these set down as ways to get around or to prevent that from happening in the future.
Yeah, I just like imagine if they said, "Hey, Brett, TYT scanned you." And now we're just going to make Happy Half Hour for the rest of time. There's nothing you can do about it. That is wild and not a bad idea.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.